Like while you guys are getting your stuff. Still have plenty. Please go eat. We have plenty of food. Otherwise, you guys are
Trying to get through the obstacle.
We're gonna freeze it and get it back out. All right.
If you're not, this all has soccer.
There we go.
They're all the same.
So you guys are all probably aware we have spring break next week. I talked to somebody yesterday and they're like, what? I'm like, I did not know spring break is next week. Oh my God.
I know, because I got drafted over there.
Next week, you guys, if you are full-timers, you get paid for Wednesday. If you're part-timers, you don't. Sorry, if you're only an on-call fare or sub. And our trip drivers, if you only do trips, you don't qualify either. But for those of you that are here every day, you guys will get paid on Wednesday. You cannot be on campus Wednesday, so they're already paying you. You cannot be here, so don't come in on Wednesdays. So if you gotta come, if you're coming to clean your bus or something like that, I don't want to see your butt. Nobody gets time on the time card Wednesday, so you'll already have a day to pay. Everybody's clear on that? Nobody comes in on Wednesday. Okay. We're down to 40 days left, my friends. At the end of the 40 days. So life is at the end of the tunnel. I was talking to my husband earlier this week, and he says, you know, you'd never make it in the real world again. I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, a real job. And I said, do you realize what? No, not that. He said, just working normal hours. And I said, I work 8 hours plus a day. What are you talking? He says, Kathy, do you realize how much time you guys get off? You're just spring break, Christmas break, Thanksgiving break. Every other, he says you work a full month ever, and I'm like, well, not if you don't have to. He's like, do you see what I mean? And he said, you would never. I think you're probably right. Yeah, February was a really good month for everybody. A lot of days off. Lots of birthdays this month and next month. Safety meeting, the 15th does fall on a weekday, so we will have our safety meeting on Tuesday. Make sure you check in your days off to double check our calendar days. We did put those up there. Nothing terribly. We'll have defensive driving and first aid. I think we're going to do those right after school's out, so we won't have that kind of stuff on the calendar yet. Do keep in mind, as adorable as Miss Maisie looks this morning with her little shamrock skirt on, there are onions in the mixture today. Do not feed her onions. They are toxic to dogs, so make sure you watch what you're giving her if you're feeding her snacks. I don't tell you guys not to feed her anymore because I already know what happened. Just don't feed her the onions. Okay, that shouldn't be me. Scott, Barney, and yesterday Miss Shannon stood over the grill for over 3 hours cooking all these hash browns. So thank you. Scott and Tony. Scott's back here. They're both pointing at each other. Nobody wants to take credit. Scott and Tony sat in here. So if you've ever watched men cook, I gotta give you a little story. This is pretty funny. Yesterday, they're like, so is it a cup and a half for this many eggs? And I'm like, it's just a casserole. Just dump it, it'll be fine. And Scott's over here with his calculator. What if I did like a cup and a half? Do you think this is it? And I'm like, just dump it in. It'll be fine. They were so adorable to watch. And Tony's like, I'm not making the call. It's on you. So they were pretty funny. They were in here, had all those pans lined up. He's weighing it and making sure they're all, not really, but it was pretty comical to watch. So thank you guys, all of you, for all the help. I didn't have to do anything but buy the ingredients. They took over and they did all the work. So thank you very much to them for making breakfast for us. We have enough of you now that the schools can't afford for just one school to feed all of us anymore. They go a couple of schools together, but unfortunately that's short to us. So we get to try and provide breakfast for you. So they did a really good job. So thank you to everybody that helped out with it. And I know I missed people. All of our subs were in here yesterday. Kim Anderson chopped all the onions and peppers for us, and everybody kicked in yesterday. So thank you. Don't park with your mirrors over the sidewalks. So a couple of weeks ago, I had somebody come in yesterday and they had a big old bruise on their forehead and he was talking about it. I was like, what the? And she says, I walked into a mirror on a minibus that had pulled up over the, and we all do it. I don't know if you, nobody ever talks on their phone while they're walking or writes messages. You know, we don't do that stuff, right? So walking into a mirror, when you guys pull up, leave your buses back off of that sidewalk. I'll be the first one, if I'm running out there to do something, I will take out a shoulder to run it into a mirror. It's just gonna happen. So just make sure you're not pulling your buses, not just the front of your bus, but especially minis. You've got the mirrors that hang up so much farther off of the front of your bus. Just keep it off the sidewalk so somebody doesn't hit it. So just don't pull up so far on the sidewalks. I didn't get all this stuff in the meeting, that's why I'm talking about it now, because I will forget. I'm not gonna talk the whole thing, because the longer I talk, the funkier I sound. Yeah, thanks for that. Parking stalls out front. Obviously, those are prime stalls out there now. If you get one, you're pretty fortunate. I have people coming in, I'm pretty sure at 4:30 to try and get one, it seems like, in the morning. When I get here, the stalls are half full already. So if you cannot find a stall out front, obviously the first choice would be to go across the street and park there. Be super careful if you're crossing 119th Street. If you prefer not to go over there, you can park on this fence over here. Either pull into it or back into it. Would you agree, Chris?
Yes.
Park north and
And
south.
there's a cone at the first, park on the east side of that cone, so go that way you're not blocking the entrance as much, I guess, coming back in, all the way forward. Don't go parallel with the fence.
I will not pay for a car wash if you park out in the parking lot here, because if you've done it more than one, if you've done it for any amount of time, you know how dusty it gets when we have 80 buses a day, well, every tier running through there. You're gonna get dusty, so if you don't wanna get your little car all dirty, this is not the place for you. You'll wanna park across the street or be here at 4:30 in the morning with the other goofers to do it. So, I can't believe we have to keep talking about that. Let's talk about the bathrooms just for a minute. Men,
Put a camera in.
boys. I don't know if somebody is hovering over it or target practice. Or when we go in and find a pile of poo in front of the stall, in front of the toilet, I just don't understand how that happens. I don't know if you don't want to sit on it, so you're just hovering and you're not back far. I shouldn't have to paint this picture. Or if you're not sitting on it and you're up the wall, come on guys. Come on guys. You've got to aim a little better. Just sit. So.
One of the options for the men's bathroom is the men's sub. Well,
It's bad.
we're looking at, one option is putting porta potties out here and locking that one. So, just clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
I'm tired of, Dee, where you at, Dee? Dee
That poor
finds out
guy.
he's been leaving all the toilet paper, or the paper towels right by the door. I feel sorry for you.
If Dee gets a hold of you, I can't protect you. I don't know if you're going over and opening the door with a towel and then just dropping your towel on the floor right there, but Dee's gonna stuff them all in your locker if he finds out who you are. So, and he's been cleaning the bathrooms after our pooper person, so whoever you are, you owe him a lot of lottery tickets, because it's bad. Ladies, this is the first time I've had to talk to the ladies. Feminine products in the trash can, we do not want to see that garbage. Wrap it up in a toilet paper and cover it up. We do not want to see it. Enough said. So. Okay, moving on. Evacuations. I think they went phenomenal. I know I had a ton of people say, I didn't know. We talked about it last month at the meeting. It did not get mentioned again because I forgot. I wasn't here Monday. Things happen. We just forgot. And I come in Tuesday and I'm like, all right, we're ready for evacs. And we all went, oh crap, it's evacs. You know what we learned is it's kind of nice to do it on a whims like that because I learned a lot about which of you knew what you were doing and which of you had no clue. Some of you, I think you are last minute test preppers. And so the day before the evacs, when you know they're coming, you're going, okay, this is what I gotta do. Don't forget. When Kathy's standing there, don't forget. Turn off the bus, turn on my hazards, pull out the key, blah, blah, blah. And then some of you got there and you were like, I don't remember how to do it. And that's okay, because that's why we do it. We're here to, because I guarantee you, you have a fire on your bus, you're not gonna know the day before to be able to study. Okay, so this was really, really good practice to see which of you really knew what you were doing and which of you had no clue. And today, after our meeting is over, we're gonna get 2 of our trainers and we're gonna take 2 buses. And if you would like to go out and be with a trainer and go through an actual evacuation with them, they're gonna go through an evacuation drill with you guys, so you know what to be saying to your kids, what to tell you, or what to show your kids, and all that stuff. And even if you know what you're doing, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing to go out there if you got time just to get a refresher. So we can't get all of you on one bus, we're gonna run 2. If it's too many, we'll run it a couple times. Stay on the clock, let us show you how to get those kids off safe. Because I guarantee you, if you have a fire, we're not gonna be able to show you the day before just so you remember how to do it the day of. You need to know what you're doing. So I encourage all of you to do it. But for those of you especially that have maybe never done one before this year, paras, you need to be out there too if you've never done an evac drill. Because if you get a sub that's brand new and has never done one, they're gonna count on you. Everybody in this room needs to know how to do an evac drill. Those kids' lives literally depend on you to know what you're doing, and you need to know how to do that. So, okay. So that'll be right after the meetings. Tony and Alicia, there she is. They will go out and they'll do those for you guys. Okay. First of all, we had a meeting yesterday with all of our subs, and I gotta tell you guys, you have no idea how lucky you are to have the subs that we have. They have so much compassion and so much desire to help each and every one of you, and they want to make sure they take care of your kids the best way they know how. So if you've not thanked a sub lately, you should definitely reach out and thank those subs, because they are. We talked about team players. They were in here trying to decide. So apparently, your maps and your tablets, we don't put that on that bus for you. You know your route. You don't. Most of you learn your route and you never touch it again other than scan your kids on and off that bus. You never worry about it. Your maps and your tablets are built for them. It's built for us. So if you're gone, well, I'm never gone. You don't know that tomorrow is not your day on God's calendar that you're done. You don't know that. And I'm not saying I want to sub for that, okay? But we have no control over when you get sick or if you fall off a curb and break your foot. Or, sorry. So, yes, thankfully you're here every day and we never have to have a sub for you. But that one day that we do, I need to be able to pick up your tablet or your maps and be able to go out and run your route just like you run it, so that we don't forget kids, so that we don't lose a kid or anything like that. So it's up to you to help them get your stuff in the best situation that we can, so that if you are gone or when you are gone, we can slip somebody in there and nobody will ever know. It'll run just like clockwork, just like you're sitting in that seat. That's our goal. So I know it's annoying to have to do the maps. I know it's annoying to come in and get maps changed on the computers and all that. But you need to sit in a sub spot and have to have us calling every other stop. Hey, where are you? You missed this kid. And the sub's like, that's not even on the tablet. I don't even know. They're not even in the book. Who are you talking to? It's extremely annoying. And that's your fault as the driver of that regular route. That's your fault that they don't have that.
Not just about annoying, let me just add this too, but it's Maze Transportation isn't.
It's exactly it.
Oh, yeah, I did.
And that makes a big difference.
Yep. And transportation, we joke all the time at the management level, if something goes wrong in the district, it's transportation's fault.
Yeah.
We joke, it's a joke, but it's sadly true. If there's anything wrong, if it can be blamed on transportation, it is. Oh, we lost the game tonight. It was transportation's fault. They rotated the tires on the bus. It's funny, but it's not funny. Yes, sir.
I have a quick question about all this, because I've been trying to train my kids to have their ID, they go, you know our name, and every day for the last 2 weeks I says, you know, I don't mean to be mean to y'all, especially the 5th through 12th. They say, well, we've been with you, you call us by name. I go, but you don't understand. I need to make sure you guys are used to getting on the bus with their ID for sub drivers. Well, you're here every day. And I go, well, the thing is that you just never know.
That's right.
Is there some kind of policy like next year that is gonna mandate the parents
Yep.
to tell their kids?
I'm gonna
Because
cover that
I'm
next.
focusing on, you're saying that exact line for the sub drivers. But
Yep.
yet I'm having trouble with kids, and obviously I don't wanna be writing them up every day for that.
And as of this year, there's not a lot we can do for kids that don't get on that bus with that card or, that doesn't scan on. But we have been talking to Darren, and that will go into policy next year. It'll be, I don't know exactly what it's gonna look like, but if they don't get on the bus, if they don't use their card, it's not just for subs that those kids are scanning on and off. It's especially at the beginning of the year, it's for your littles. When they get off of the bus and they go downstairs and play Nintendo for 2 hours before mom gets home, and mom can't find them when they get, and I guarantee you when they call and they're panicking because they can't find their kindergartner that got off the bus 2 hours ago, 9 times out of 10, they're in the basement playing. That's the first thing I always tell her. Did you check your basement? I know this sounds weird, but, and that's 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. But that scanning on and off, if a kid disappears, if a kid decides to run away from home, that's our proof, yes, that student got off at that stop or got on at this stop. That's how we track those kids. That is the #1 reason that the district purchased that, was for us. We're so big that we can't keep track of all these kids. This is just one more way that we can help protect our kids and know exactly where they got on and off at. So that was the #1 reason for that. And the second reason, and which was a bonus for us, a perk for us, is you get the GPS. And it helps our drivers and our subs be able to learn where those routes are at, where we're going and that sort of thing. But the #1 reason was to help protect our kids and know exactly where they're getting on and off the buses at. So next year, we're working on the policies now, is if they don't scan on and off, they will get written up after however many, maybe 2 or 3 times. We will write them up, and it will be eventually a potential for them to get kicked off the bus for not using it, because it's for their protection that we're using the program. They have to scan in and out of the school. They have to have their badges for school. They just need to learn that they have to have it for the buses as well.
Can the drivers, if there's kids that are getting off at a different stop, can the drivers change that or recommend to change their stop? I did one route where it says I'm dropping off 3 kids, I ended up dropping off 10.
Yeah, that's
And I
something
asked
we need to
him,
know
I
about.
asked him, you can't get off here. He says, well, I live right there.
Yeah, we can
And-
change that,
And there was 3 kids that their house was literally
right there.
right there. 2 of them were 2 houses down, and their stops was 3 blocks down the road.
Yeah. Now understand when the program builds your routes over the summer, we let the program do most of the work, and we all know computers are not flawless. The accidents happen. It sees a road and it's not a road, it's a walkway. We have to make lots of adjustments on those routes. So it does the best that it can. I try and go in, and Chris and Tony and all of us in the office, before we hand those routes out, we try to do our best. There's almost 4,000 kids we're putting on buses, so it's hard to catch all of them. But we try our best to make sure that that doesn't happen, that the students are right here and their house is right here, not across. We had a bus stop that was stopping on the left side of the east side of Tyler, and they lived on the west side. The house was right there on the corner, but we had a stop already on the other side of Tyler, so I said, oh, they could just walk across Tyler. Duh, that's not happening. It was over at 21st and Tyler. So, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But the program doesn't know that, so unless we catch it. So we do have accidents that or stuff that happens like that. So if you see it, by all means, bring it to us and we'll definitely make sure we move those kids. Now, if they're wanting to change their stop so they get off with a friend, that has to look a little different. You can't make that call. We have to contact parents and they have to change bus forms for that kind of stuff. But if it's just an error in the programming showing, putting them at a stop they probably shouldn't have been at, they should have been at one makes more sense, let us know, we'll take care of that, that's not a problem. But your subs aren't gonna know that, and the sub, if the kid goes to scan off the bus, they'll be like, whoa, this is not your stop, go sit down. We don't wanna fight on that between a sub and a kid, so help your subs out to get that done. Michelle?
We've got a lot of new paras.
Uh-huh,
Paras need to know the routes too,
yeah,
you're not just sitting there. You should be paying attention and know your stops to help the subs out,
yeah,
because most of the paras are on special needs.
yeah, that's a good point. And that's part of your job as a para, is to learn that route. So if you're a regular para on a route, that's your job to know that route and know those kids too, so. Good point. All right, any questions on that? Okay, oh, yes. Yes, sorry.
We don't hand our cards out, we scan them in for the special ed, is that okay?
Perfectly fine, as long as they're scanned on and off the bus. Yep, perfectly fine. Some of you guys prefer to push the button and scan your kids in, but your kids need to know that as a sub, most of your subs want them scanned on and off with a card. So your kids need to at least have those cards ready. Yes, ma'am?
I have 2 new kids on my route, where do I get those cards for them?
The front desk can get it for you, Caitlin can get it for you, anybody in the office can do it, but start with Caitlin. We like to keep her busy at the front desk with all that. She's not here for me to throw under the bus. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. Oh, this is where I was going, I got way off track. So, teamwork. Our subs yesterday, it was really cool just to watch them talk and build each other up and do all that great stuff between all of them. I would like to see that as this whole group. I would like to see all of us do that for each other. I mean, we're a family. Forget the team. We're a family. You guys all know who each other are. You know your kids. You know parents and grandparents. And I don't know how many times somebody called me on last week when my mom was in the hospital. Hey, good luck. And that just, man, that's a feel-good feel. This is a family, and we need but we also have all the Sharons in this family, and you guys can probably think of 2 or 3 in the top of your head. Excuse me, our problem children, if you will. We're getting better, but Chris's office, let's just talk about this for a second. Some of you have noticed that there's a desk in there. No, Chris isn't moving to the smaller desk. No, I did not tell Chris he had to share his office. That was Chris's choice. He was lonely and what, no, I'm just kidding. He got tired of talking to himself and wanted somebody to actually talk back. He didn't like how he was answering himself. So we had a desk back here, or a table back here at the back that our map checkers were using. We had them in the closet. We brought them out of the closet, put them out of the, okay, that sounded bad. Put them on the back wall. They have meetings in here all the time, so they weren't able to get to that. So Chris offered his, he doesn't use his whole office. He offered that little spot and he said that, you know, hey, if them or somebody from Stop or somebody needs to just use that little desk, we'll just leave that in there. So I was not mean and did not tell him he had to share his office with whoever. That was Chris's choice. And if you guys have, yeah, thank you. And instead of just throwing rumors out there saying I'm a jackwagon and I'm making him share his, come talk to me, I'll tell you, yep, I was a jackwagon. I'll let you know, I don't have a problem, I have nothing to hide from y'all. So, and that's the same way with all of us. So don't do the rumor stuff. I cannot stand rumors. I'm not a gossip person. I don't like drama. I like things to flow nice and clean. You want to know something? I'll tell you, come sit down with me. Not a problem. All right. Mays PD and Wichita actually have both called me. We have buses that are not using their turn signals. So the last 2 phone calls that I got were on mini buses, and I'll visit with them a little bit later. They followed one, said that they turned a corner, didn't use their signal twice. They did not ever use their signals, turn signals. Maybe, just maybe, your turn signal doesn't work. I'm going to guess you probably just didn't use it because you went both ways. You went right and then you went left. So unless they're both out, you probably didn't use your signal. They've also seen it on the big buses. So be aware, they're done. They're not letting you walk away from that anymore. You don't use your signals, your little happy bus is going to be pulled over with a cop behind you and you're going to get a ticket. Bus loaded or not, they are going to start writing. I told them to. If they're not abiding by the law, we are professional drivers. Write them a ticket.
That's right.
So be aware if you're not using your turn signals. I was a jackwagon and told them to pull you over. If you don't want to abide by the rules, you have no right to be above the law. So if you're not, and we're driving through neighborhoods and parking lots, some of you guys are hauling butt way too fast. They see you guys running through neighborhoods, popping curbs, wheelies, you know I'm exaggerating now, but you guys understand what I'm saying. You're not above the law. You haul our most precious cargo on the planet. You need to act like it. So I told them, start pulling them over. Give them tickets. Maybe that'll open your eyes. So those of you that go, oh crap, you're probably the one we're talking about. So be aware that I've told them to quit letting you walk away with it. Write them up. Theirs is gonna cost you, mine doesn't. Last thing I have, and then we're gonna keep moving on. Subs, on para subs. So the biggest complaint I've had on our minibuses is when you get a sub para, and understand that they don't know your kids. They don't know how long it takes to buckle them in. They don't know if they come on with harnesses. You know, a lot of you communicate really well. Is you're pulling up to the next stop, you say, hey, our next kid is autistic. They have a 5-point harness. Make sure you do this and this, and this is what they like. This is what they don't. Kudos to you. Some of you, a kid gets on with a 5-point harness, and I'm back there, and it's under the coat, and I don't know they have a 5-point harness, and they sit in their seat, and I'm like, oh, well, there's hookup for here, so I'm looking, and next thing I know, I'm thrown in the back of the bus because the driver is taking off. I had no clue. I'm not braced for it. So if you have a sub-para, take care of your sub-paras. I don't want to pick them off the asphalt because you threw them out the back door. Okay? That's their biggest complaint as sub-paras is you are hauling tail, taking off, and they haven't even clipped a kid in yet. If you do that with your normal para knows it, and they brace for it as they're hooking everybody up. I don't know that. I don't brace, but man, maybe I should. We need to come with safety harnesses hooked to the seats or to the ceiling so when you take off, we just swing or something. I don't know. Just be cautious of those of you that get sub-paras. They don't understand your process, and just be nice. I don't want to have to fill out HR forms because we broke a leg. All right, moving on. Maybe. Oh, driver and para of the month. Drum roll, please. Driver. Shannon Burke. This one's pretty cool. I get a lot of nominations for Shannon. She does a lot. Obviously, she spent 3 hours out yesterday cooking for us. She doesn't hesitate picking up stuff if she's in the office a lot. You guys see her all the time. She's always here. She's not on the clock, just so you guys aren't freaking out. I got this oh my gosh, it's quite comical. I've had your name for a couple months, but I just hold off just because it's kind of funny. Every month for about the last 3 months, I'm like, I'm gonna keep writing her up until you put her on there. I'm gonna keep writing her up until you put her up there. I'm like, really? Listen, one more month, and yep, here it comes. I'm gonna keep writing her up until you give it. But she does do a lot to help us out, so kudos to Shannon and congratulations. You get the first one. And our para is not actually here today. She works at Mount Hope as Christina Wallace. For those of you that don't know her, she's a para for our Mount Hope. She's about this tall. She's got short hair, super sweet. For those of you that know, she had, I think it was in her bicep here, had a huge chunk taken out by a kiddo. Had to send her to the ER. One of her kiddos took a bite out of her arm. She takes a lot of it's Mount Hope. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
She knows what she signed up for. That's for sure. But her out of the box thinking is amazing, and I know they get more training out there than what we do. Their training is different. I don't know that it's more, but they deal with those kids all the time. Their kids out there are volatile and a totally different breed than what we have here. But the things that she deals with on the bus, they don't deal with out there because they have counselors, they have principals, if you run into an issue there's help. You guys all know that when you run into an issue on the bus, it's you. You're all we got until you call in and we can help you. But obviously you guys always try and be that first. And Christina has had multiple instances where something that could have been extremely bad very quickly, and she thought outside the box, redirected those kids. She really is an out-of-the-box thinker, and I wish you guys could all have a chance just to visit with her and meet her. She's a really good para, so kudos to Christina. If you see her, her name and picture might be up in the hallway, so if you see her, just make sure you tell her congratulations on that. So, all right.
Nice.
Spring break, make sure that your buses are on full. The trash in your bus needs to be emptied before you leave as well. I don't want banana peels and sack lunches left on your bus all spring break. It will not be pretty when you get back. So make sure that you get all that cleaned off of your bus and fill them up. Just a funny. Evacuations, or not evacuation, evaluation is the other E word that we love. Most of yours are done. We have, sorry to my office staff, I thought we had to have it done by spring break, but we have till the end of the month now. So I've been on them, get them done, so you got another couple weeks. But I think most of them are done. You guys should all have yours in your email. You'll need to go in there and verify that you have gotten it and that you've received it. You may not agree with it, but you have to say, yes, I got it. If you don't agree with it, go talk to the manager that wrote your evaluation and talk to them. Now, understand this year that HR has asked for us to do things a little differently, and you're gonna see most evaluations, I don't remember what they're called. It's, you don't do it, who need to work on it, you do good, you do great. And most of you, in the past, we've always done you do great, because you guys are all really, really good at what you do. And they said, you gotta quit doing that. What are you giving them to work for if you give them all 5 stars every time you talk to them? And they're not wrong. We're not perfect. We've all got things we can work on. So what I have done on my evaluations is I have done the second column, which says you're doing good. You're not doing great, but you're doing good. And I give you 2 things in the very last column that say you're doing great on what you're best at. These are the 2 things you excel in, that you're really, really good at. You do good on everything, but these 2 things are the things you're really good at. So don't take offense if you don't get all 5 stars on your evaluations. Most people are not going to get all 5 stars. We're not perfect. But don't be offended by that. Just understand that what you should be looking at is, these are the 2 things that I do the best. What do I need to improve on the rest of these so I can get these next year? So don't take it bad. It's still a good evaluation. It's a good evaluation. But just understand that's how we've been asked to do the evaluations this year.
I didn't get mine last year, and I still don't have an email of one now.
Send me an email and I'll double check and make sure you're on there. We have found that a lot of you guys aren't on, even those of you that have been around forever. Joy Shumway was not in the evaluation list. I had to build hers. So for some reason, they've changed things a little bit this year. They've changed the evaluation form. Shoot us an email and I'll build you up an evaluation and we'll get it in the system.
Oh, okay.
So.
So just send me an email just saying, hey, reminder.
Just put evaluation in the thing and I'll know what it is.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
So if you didn't get one, shoot me an evaluation. Some of you are going to go, no, I'm not saying anything. I don't want it. That's fine. I can't hear him, guys. Sorry. It was last year's? Did you get it this year?
The heading at the top says clear 23.4, but the date is this year. It's the current one, but it says 23.4, they never changed it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So as long as it's dated by us for this year, you're good to go. Keep in mind, if you do get all bad reviews, first of all, you probably won't be coming back next year. We haven't had anybody do that. But if you do have things you need to work on, come talk to us. We are happy to help you and get that score up for you. But honestly, what that says means jack squat for what you're getting paid. The school doesn't base your salary or your raises or anything on this evaluation. This is just used so that the district knows how we're doing, things that we're doing really, really good at, and what can we get help for that transportation team. What do they need help with over there that we can help them with? So an evaluation that's not 5 stars all the way across does not